Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Deacon, hit the streamers. No streamers? We have any confetti? No
That
confetti.
was Bill's job.
Okay. How are we supposed to celebrate this beginning of the new year without confetti streamers? I'm kind of confused, guys. Well, last weekend was Christ the King, where we focused on Jesus being above all other things. Creator of heaven and earth, creator of the stars, all the sand on the sea. Now he will come to judge us on the last day. But in his homily, Deacon Kevin shared this. He said, "From the perspective of the universe, we are nothing. But from the perspective of God, we are everything." I like that. It's amazing to think about. And because of this love, God came down from the heavens to us. He took on flesh. He came to teach us. He came to die for us so that our sins might be forgiven. And then he plans to come again to make all things right, to bring justice to this broken world, and to bring us into that fulfillment, that full relationship with him forever. Now that's the gospel message in a nutshell. And that's also the message of Advent for us. We don't start with confetti and streamers because it's not just a holiday. It's not just about a party. Christmas is so much more than that. And Advent is a time of preparation for Christmas. In the gospel today, when Jesus says, "You do not know when the Lord of the house is coming," the word coming is parousia in Greek. And in Latin, it is adventus, which is where we get the word Advent. So Advent means coming, and we are looking for Jesus's coming into our lives, especially during this time. And Christians over the centuries have recognized that looking towards Jesus' first coming, his nativity at Christmas, is also a good way of preparing for his second coming, and vice versa. Looking at the end of time towards Christ the King is a way for us to prepare for his coming in Christmas. It's kind of like a Mr. Miyagi technique that prepares the Karate Kid for competition, both sides. So this weekend, we're preparing for both the coming of Christ at Christmas and the coming of Christ at the end of the world. And what is the primary message of the gospel? Be watchful, be alert. I don't know about you, but for me, that seems kind of odd during this time. I mean, to be prepared, I feel like I have to do something. I've got to get busy. I've got to be about getting things accomplished. And yet Jesus doesn't talk about that. He says, pay attention, be alert. He says that 4 or 5 times in this short gospel passage. So what is he getting at? Well, I think it is about even in another way that Jesus comes to us, a third way. A very real way he comes to us in our daily lives, personally and in our own time. He wants to arrive in our needs and to help us, but it's not going to be as obvious as these other times. It doesn't come up planned on the calendar. It's not something that is announced with earthquakes and natural disasters. Jesus comes to us personally, and for us to receive him, it's going to require some attentiveness. You know, a few weeks ago, I was quarantined, and I was there for a long time in the rectory all by myself, without much interaction with other people. I found some consolation as family members and friends brought me bags of food and left it on the doorstep. But one evening, along with a bag of food, I found this bag on my doorstep. And when I opened it up, I found this little guy there to greet me. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but this is a little image of the divine mercy of Jesus, just in this goofy little form. It certainly made me laugh, but it helped me realize that Jesus wants to be here with me in my daily life and the struggles that I have day in and day out. I'm not alone. I need to be awake to those opportunities where he wants to speak to me, where he wants to remind me of his presence and his love for me. Another way that Jesus wants us to be watchful is in the opportunities that we have to share him with others. A friend of mine has worked with a non-Christian colleague for years. Day in and day out, she's been witnessing the faith subtly in ways that she prays before meals, maybe prays before important things. And yet this didn't seem to really have any impact on this colleague. After years, one day the coworker comes to her and says that he's getting married soon. But his fiance is Christian. And guess who he wanted to talk to about the faith? My friend. Because she had been witnessing, she had been just living out her faith in a way that was visible. And here was the opportunity for Jesus to come, for her to share Jesus with this person who is now open to him. These types of interactions can happen all the time, can happen with different people we know or even people we don't know. Are we awake to them? This Advent, we're challenged to be alert for Jesus' coming. In his birth, in his second coming, in our daily lives. We don't know the time or the place or how he will come to us, but he asks us, one and all, watch.